All right, I killed off those crazy animations and I put it in a file called selecting traversing in case you want to reference that later and mess around with it. And I have a blank slate again. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about events. Fortunately, we've already kind of blabbed about this and have done some examples through the rapid demos. If you remember the hovers and the clicks, I just want to explain in more detail. So what is an event? An event is really pretty much any action on the site. So you can have, for example, user events, user selects, that's an event. User clicks, user hovers, user touch if they are on a mobile device. Anything a user can do to interact with your website is an event, and you can probably manipulate it with JavaScript. And there's other types of events too, such as scrolling. So on window, this browser, as it scrolls, we can log these events. On resize, these are technically events. And the list just goes on and on. So any interaction at all is an event. Be super clear about that. So events are pretty easy to kind of work with in jQuery. You're simply attaching an event to a selector. So what we're going to do is use the on for our example. So we're going to say h2 on whatever our event is. If it's hover, if it's click, if it's touch, whatever we want to do. I'm just going to do click because it's easy. And then we just pass a block of code to run, which I'm going to do shorthand for a self-invoking function. And that's kind of why we're doing function here. So I'll show you what that is in a second in more detail. So we're just going to say on click log, yo, dude, you clicked the H1. And I'm going to log to our debug that we clicked the H2. So let's refresh, click, and you can see, we zoom in here, it's just going up and up and up and up. Now, why are we passing a function here sometimes when other times, like the CSS, it was an object? And you're just going to have to look at examples to kind of get an idea of when jQuery is asking you for what type of thing. But the reason we're passing a function is all we're doing is kind of taking an easy route of not having to write out a variable first. So why we kind of had that function there written was the exact same thing as if we would have just done log the click event is equal to this function. And we could do it this way. I mean, you could do it this way. Click here. The logging still works. But rather than having to write that out every time, that's why we do the function. And then we can kind of lazy write in this short syntax. It's really nice. That's all there are to events. You're attaching events to things. You can use the on syntax. There are a ton of helpers out there. For example, you could do click function. So there's like a helper, which is the exact same thing, except this is shorthand. You could do hover. There's a bunch of different options. Go check out the docs if you want to see more. But for the most part, hover, clicks are going to be our main ones.